Yeah, Kim and Felix are here with us already. Perfect. Sorry, I stepped out for a second. I hope you are both doing well and healthy. I assume you're both in Germany as well, right?
Yes, wonderful Monday morning here.
Yeah, it's grayish here for me. Okay, we will wait a few minutes. We just had a session before you, a virtual company visit at one of our corporate partners as well, and we stepped out for a short break, but then I would say we get started, um, and then I will shortly introduce you, and it's then open to you. And yeah, we have a few more students. So maybe a short background for you. So since we are around the globe having sugar projects or also programs, the event, this 7-day conference to kick off these design thinking innovation projects for 9 months, they are running on 2 tracks. So we have one morning track and one afternoon track, and the students from the evening, they will then some of them might join right now, but that's why we're recording now, as we talked about it before, so that they can watch it as well. And yeah, good. I see more and more people turning on their cameras, the other way around. So yeah, please, Anina, you can leave your camera on. That looks wonderful. So if you are, yes, and I see more and more people turning on their camera. It's so nice to talk to actual faces looking at you. So if you're sitting dressed in front of your camera and you can either have your background covered like mine, or you have a background that's okay to see, please turn on your camera. It's so much nicer to actually see faces and knowing that there are people sitting. Because now we're gonna go, oh, and Sushi is there as well. He did not fall asleep yet from the meditation music. And yeah, because we're going to go into our second session of the day, which is hosted by IBM. They're also a corporate partner this year. And this session will be led by Kim Dressendörfer and Felix Augenstein on the IBM Cloud. You see it, I think, in Felix Augenstein's background. It's the logo, if I'm not mistaken. You will be better, yes. You will tell us more about it. So thank you so much for this hour session, and it's all to you. Please welcome me, Felix and Kim.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, right. So I think we can also say a few sentences about ourselves. Kim, would you like to start? I don't hear you at the moment.
The typical technical problems. Well, hello, first of all. My name is Kim Dressendörfer. I'm a technical specialist for data and AI at IBM, and I work specifically as a cognitive solution architect, which basically means I'm listening to clients' problem and try to help with AI solutions to solve their problems. So this is what I do every day, and I'm gonna show you a little bit like what it basically means and what we offer. And yeah, hope you have a lot of fun today.
Okay, so hello also from my side. I'm Felix. I work together with our IBM business partners, so the ones that are actually using our solutions on the IBM Cloud, and I enable them with workshops and of course, lastly, not that many face-to-face meetings, rather Zoom or WebEx or video conferences, just like today. And yeah, I enable them for the Watson services, so our AI services on the IBM Cloud.
Exciting. Okay, I'm going to share my screen to just show you what we prepared for you today, because we have like kind of 2 sections of what we're going to do. So we're going to have the workshop later, but I got to tell you a little bit like what basically the whole chatbot business means and what comes with it, basically, because it's a little bit more complex, and it comes a lot about like building a chatbot that has personality. So when we talk about chatbots, at least I have in mind something really sophisticated, really strong, and it always comes up that something like that, right? If you want to build something absolutely outstanding and really creative, and well, I'm sorry guys, we're not there yet, and there are actually copyright issues which hold us back to build exactly that. But if we talk about AI, right, and having that absolute fantastic solution in mind, we should go a few steps back to kind of understand where it's coming from and what it meant getting built. So we actually should go back to the year 1985, where we first started building text mining tools, because we kind of figured out pretty early that data is going to be the key at one point, and we got to make the machine understand what the data and that kind of like unstructured text means. But our first breakthrough was 1997, where we built our Deep Blue, which was the first, deep learning algorithm, which made our chess champion back then really crumble really hard. And a few years later, we came up with something new, and that was basically our Watson, what we're going to show you today of how it works and what it basically does. So in 2011, we won the game show Jeopardy. I'm like Watson, and basically with the main task to understand natural language in a spoken form. So that already is something absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you all know the game show Jeopardy, but basically you get an answer and you got to formulate the question to it. So it's a little bit more than just like giving the answer to a task. So you got to formulate something. And we won this show by basically teaching Watson the Wikipedia. Everything is in the Wikipedia, so we thought it's a great idea to just teach him that, and making it sure to just like understand whatever has been asked and formulate the question to it. 8 years later, we actually created the first AI system which is able to debate a human. And that is actually like really great, because you got to understand, we talk about like amazing natural language processing, because the machine is now able to read a text and formulate it in a debate new for himself. So that's something which you should keep in mind if you want to build a chatbot, because it comes down to how do you make something so amazing like a R2D2, for example, to argument with a human and debate in that kind of way with a really proven proof at the end of it. So, but now that's just a little history lesson. When we talk about Watson, we actually have multiple services in mind. And today we just came to like talk about this one, which is a chatbot. But even behind the chatbot, we kind of need to bring something more in it. And when we talk about it, right, what you see here is basically our whole portfolio, which we offer with under the name Watson. Yes, there are some more machine learning algorithm, but this is not what we want to put like right now and today into a chatbot. So when we talk about AI assistant, this is what you see all the way to the left. This is your interaction, right? You see like the incoming question and the answer which you formulate in the chatbot setting. But as you already saw, the like robotic kind of like interactive way that you want to create something that is the next way, you kind of need to put more in it. So let's talk about, for example, the speech. To make your chatbot also answer to you on the phone or like over an Alexa or over a Google, which you can all implement in it, you got to make sure it understands what you talk about and also answers them. And probably all of you kind of like know these like monotone banking voice, which says like, hey, please press 1 if you want to get connected to the next agent, press 2, and like no interaction at all in a whole monotone voice. But what we can do nowadays is we can bring personality in it. That's why we have the right pile here with, for example, the empathy and the tone analyzer. So when we detect something in our chatbot, when someone is talking angry or uses angry wording because he's just frustrated and no one's helping him with his task, we can use the tone analyzer to analyze this emotion right now and make sure the voice, for example, answers in the right way. So we have soft voices, for example, if we can like find out someone's really angry, we can say like, we're really sorry. And it's like a really like soft voice. We can also be really excited if someone says like, your service is amazing. And then the voice can act to it and literally like answer to it. We also have, for example, kids' voices, because we do build kids robots. So in the statistics, like in the studies, it shows that a kid will ask more questions if it also gets answered with the kid's voice. Then we have the whole vision pile. I mean, like we all know, we take a lot of pictures. Just imagine you can upload them in your chatbot. You can, for example, take a picture of your broken laptop and the chat will like direct it right away. So it's like, okay, you need this new, this will cost that much. We will wrap it up for you. And this can all be solved, for example, in a chatbot. We can use it for object detection. We can use it for many more things. What we, for example, build in a chatbot actually is for our client Mercedes. They have a augmented reality world on their app to like go through the dashboard of the car to find out which button means what. So it's kind of really cool and interactive. We built the same for museums where you can walk with your phone or to like art and statues, and Watson will basically explain which everything means. The great thing as well, what I think is absolutely necessary nowadays, is the language translator, because we want to be connected all around the world, and we don't want to have the language as a barrier. So now, by being said that, we actually do have something we built which are already in space. And I mean, as I mentioned earlier, there are some copyright issues, so we cannot be as cool as Star Wars, but we at least can do some things. So what I want to introduce you today is kind of like what you are nowadays already able to build as a chatbot. And this is our Crew Interactive Mobile Companion, which is in cooperation with Airbus DLR, which is basically our German NASA, and IBM. And it is already in space. It is already up there. It's our second version, which is already up there. So it's absolutely amazing. We built our first AI companion up there. And what is in there is literally what I just showed you as the services. So the main task is here to have a companion for the astronaut to basically help them do their task. Because as you can see on this picture, right, there's a lot of stuff flying around. But the laptops and all that stuff is kind of stationary. So every time the astronaut has to do a task, he has to fly to the laptop, check it out, and fly back wherever he was like doing his task. So we gave him something that follows him and flies around with him and helps him do his task. So for example, what we did, we implemented the whole like books basically about the ISS right now and about like the task he has to do. So he can say stuff like, how do I solve this problem again? And Simon will basically answer that. And his main task as well is also to be like, just be there and help with him. So we do skill training, and we also do mobile video documentation. So you can ask him like, hey, can you film me in this direction in this kind of degrees for 32 seconds? And he will understand that and will basically film you in that kind of curve, whatever you ask for. He can help you solve the Rubik Cube, and is basically up in space and doing his task. And the absolute great thing is it's his brain is actually in our Frankfurt cloud. And if you think about the distance between the Frankfurt cloud and the ISS, it just takes 2 seconds to make him answer. So we're like really on a great thing that you just need a 2-second answer to get something up in a little robot. Now you may be wondering, okay, that's something in space, what I can do here, what is possible here on the Earth. We do have that too. We basically used kind of the same brain, what we have, and put it on a Segway robot. And this robot is now able to basically help patients, for example, in the hospital to get to the right places. It's kind of like a concierge service. So you can talk to him and say like, I have an appointment with Dr. ABC. I don't know where he is. Can you maybe help me to bring me to the right rooms? And what we built into is a whole 3D mapping system. So it will guide you through the whole building while knowing exactly where to go. So something kind of what my goal is here to also like start your imagination to just like think outside the box and like think about places where you might use the chatbot and what you kind of want to reach. And I mean, honestly, like, sky is not the limit. So you do you, be creative and do the most thing as possible. And what I also want to mention here is it's really important we built it on an environment where you can use it on every cloud. So if you already built something on different kind of clouds, you can use the Watson services and deploy it on that cloud in a container-based environment, which is also kind of great because we all know every client, every person has different kind of clouds we're using, and our services are kind of amazing. So we don't want to let people stop it just because they're deployed on different clouds. By that being said, I'm going to give over to my colleague Felix. With these are the links down here. So we have created a little GitHub repository with all the informations and with all also like other ideas which you can like deploy and basically have fun with. And Felix, have fun taking over.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kim. So I just posted the link in the chat, so you can access it there. And I will share my screen as well. And hopefully now you can all see the repository. So the good news for today is you don't have to participate the same time than I do the exercise. You can just lean back and come back here later to that repository, and there you will find all the necessary information. So under getting started, here you can create an IBM Cloud account. You do have some documentation to just get familiar with the IBM Cloud, and there's also getting started with Watson Assistant, so the service we will be using today. And then here you can find all kinds of cool tutorials, and you also do have some further resources, especially the one for Simon is pretty great, so you can access that, and there are some other benefits. So with that link you have everything, and before I do forget it, here you also have you have Kim's presentation, so you can access that here as well. So that's that. Now let's switch over to the IBM Cloud, and actually the Zoom window is kind of blocking that. So now we're here. So when you registered for the IBM Cloud, you will see this interface. So you will reach your dashboard. Here you can see your current resources. So whenever you deploy a service, you will see it over here. You will see if there's any planned maintenance or something like that. You will also see the cloud status. So at the moment, there are no issues. If there are any, you will see those here. And you will see your usage. So whatever you spend on what service, you will see that over here. To create a new service, basically you can just search the catalog over here, or you can go to your catalog as well. And if we go there, you do have something featured for you, but you can also go to services and choose, for instance, AI. And maybe some of these look also familiar. That's because we already saw them on Kim's presentation. So those are the Watson AI services. And for now, we will click on one of them, the Watson Assistant. And as you can see here, next window would be like the configuration part. So you can choose a region where you would like to deploy the service. You can choose Frankfurt here, for instance. You can select the plan, and that's another great thing. So you can use the light plans, and here you can actually see that you have about 10,000 API calls per month at no cost. So an API call would be whenever you send a message or a user sends a message to your chatbot, for instance, and the chatbot answers, that would be an API call. So you can really build a cool demo with the light account for free. So you can choose that plan. Then you would have to give a name for your service, and you can select the resource group. That makes sense if you have lots and lots of services, right? And if you just want to maintain a bit of order, you can select resource groups for them and then filter for your resource groups. And the next step would just be to click on create And then if you go back to your dashboard by clicking here, IBM Cloud, or just selecting your dashboard from the menu, you will see your created Watson Assistant service. And just to mention briefly as well, you also do have that documentation tab available. If we click here for a second, yeah, you can see you have that Explore tab. You have some good videos as well. Welcome to IBM Cloud and so on. You do have further tutorials available, and you have documentation for every product. Yeah, so here you can go to Watson Assistant, for instance, and you'll see all kinds of information. So more tutorials, more information regarding pricing, where to set up your services, and so on. So that's just the little tour for the IBM Cloud to show you how the look and feel is. And then you can go to your services in the next step, and you will see all of your services over here. And then you can just click your Watson Assistant service. So mine is here, for instance, and launch it. And then you can reach the next screen, which looks like this. I already opened it in a new tab. And inside your Watson Assistant service, you do have those two tabs in your menu: assistants, where you can deploy an assistant you already configured. And you do have this other one here, which is called skills. And here's where you actually do the work and teach Watson the questions of your users and what you would like to answer. And here I already do have some skills. You can create then a new skill, choose dialogue skill, for instance. You do have those options. So you can just create a new one, type a name, choose the language. You can use a sample skill, or you can also import skills. So those you wouldn't require those JSON files. That's JavaScript object notation, and you can upload it. And of course, you can also, whenever you created a skill, export your skill as a JSON file and then re-import it. So all of that is working. But as I already created a skill, just not to start from scratch, I'll just click in there, and then you will see like the main building blocks of your assistants, which are called intents, entities, and dialogue. And intents are actually like the, what the word actually says, intent of your user. So what's the aim of your user? What are they trying to achieve with your assistant? And you summarize them with this hashtag symbol. So for instance, I do have an intent for greeting, yeah? And if I click in there, you will see that here you can provide user examples. So I provided those user examples here: good afternoon, good day, good evening, and so on and so on. You don't have to provide the user examples for every specific case, right? That's the great thing about AI. So you basically train a model. You provide some user examples. Here the pro tip says at least 5. So you at least have to add 5 so that the system gets trained and knows basically what this intent is about. And then you can also play with it and try typing some different greeting method and see whether the system actually recognizes that. Yeah. Just to show some more, I do have that one here, for instance, capabilities, because users tend to ask, okay, so what can you do for me? How can you help me? Or how can I use you, right? And then we want to provide an answer for that as well. So I do have that capabilities intent. Then, of course, one for goodbye as well, locations, offerings, and so on. And here you also might get an idea what this chatbot is about. So that's actually for a shop. And to be specific, it is a bike shop. So here you can ask questions about bikes or current offerings and actually configure your own bike and then purchase it in the end. So I do have these ones as well. So purchase, I would like to buy, I would like to purchase, can I buy? Opening hours is another intent. Here it says, okay, at what time can I visit your store? When are you open? When is your shop open? And so on. So I think you get the idea what an intent is. And then the next building block would be entities. So that are actually, yeah, you can call them objects in your user examples. And the idea behind it is actually that your Watson assistant can answer in a different way. Yeah, so I do have this entity bicycle here configured. And as you can see, it always starts with that @ symbol. So for entities, they have the @ symbol. For intents, they have the hashtag, right? And I do have, for instance, configured some bicycles like city bike, e-bike, or mountain bike with these entity values. And now you can imagine if the user asks for current offerings, products, or says, I would like to purchase something in your store, the Watson assistant could answer, okay, here's a list of all of my products, all of those bikes, I can sell them to you. But the user could also ask, I would like to purchase, and then say the e-bike, for instance, okay? And then the assistant would recognize, okay, this user example is specific to the intent purchase, but the user already provided some more information, which is this entity here, bicycle is e-bike. And then Watson assistant could already answer, okay, this is our e-bike, you can purchase it now, right? So it can change the answer it gives here with those entities. I do have some more. For instance, bells, there's a noisy and a silent bell available, your delivery method via standard or express delivery, and payment method, so how you would like to pay, and that's just to be able to configure that product or that bicycle. Then we go to dialog, and here you will actually build your dialog and say how you would like to guide your user through the dialog. And per default, you always do have 2 nodes. So those elements here are nodes. You'll have 2 nodes available. One is this welcome node, and the other one is the anything else node. Inside the welcome node is the message that you would like to display at the beginning. And inside this anything else node is just some kind of message if your assistant didn't understand what the user said. So you can say, okay, I didn't understand. Please try rephrasing what you just said. And then I did add some more nodes. Next, as you can see here, this one, for instance, is regarding that greeting intent. And here you can already see the logic, how that system works. So it says, if your assistant recognizes something, here I specified the intent greeting. I could add some more. I could choose different intents. Then your assistant will respond with, here you also do have some other options. So you can respond with an image, with an option list, but here it's just plain text. You can say, hi there, how can I help you today? I do have another one for capabilities. So here you can say what you can actually do with that bot, right? So it can provide information for shop locations, opening hours, and of course, help you to buy one of our current offerings. And then here under offerings, I choose the option list. So here I can provide a title and then provide some clickable list labels. So something like e-bike, mountain bike, city bike, and so on. And the user can click on that, and then the user would basically put in that phrase. Then we can go to the next one, so purchase. And here I actually activated some of the other features. So as you can see, the logic is still the same if assistant recognizes purchase. But then here with this customize button, you can enable some other features. And here I enabled those slots, which is basically a tool to gather information from your user. And here it will then check for this entity bicycle and save it as, and those are context variables. So they have that $sign at the beginning just to save information. And if it is not present, I can prompt the user for it. Yeah. So ask, so which bike would you like to purchase? Okay. And then it goes through that logic. It does the same thing with the bell, which delivery, and the same thing for payment method. And in the end, it can provide an answer. And now you can use those context variables in the text. So I can say, okay, purchase summary would be bicycle with this context variable bell, and so on. Okay. Then, of course, the further nodes regarding locations. So here I can provide a link as well. Here I just provided the IBM homepage, but you can choose whatever you would like to add here. And opening hours, you can say, okay, opening hours from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, the goodbye intent. And now the rather nice thing is, because I don't like to just configure it, I like to try it as well, of course. So you do have that feature. You can click here on the try it button, and it provides this message, which I configured under the welcome intent or welcome node. Hello, I'm your bike shop assistant, right? So now I can say hello. And as you can see, it triggers the right intent, the greeting intent, and provides the correct answer. And here you also do have a rather nice feature. You can train your assistant from here as well. So here I could say, okay, you didn't get it right. It was not greeting. And I can select the other intent. And then it would train just for 1 or 2 seconds, and it would save that input under your intents. And then next time you try it out, it would provide the correct answer. But of course here, hello is greeting, so it got it all right. And it says, hi there, how can I help you today? And now I could say, okay, so what can you help me with? Hope you can see that, actually. I can a little bit bigger. So it says here, I can help you with shop locations, opening hours, and so on and so on. So I could just say, okay, when are you open? And it would get that right as well. So now I can actually try something more interesting and say, so what are your current offerings? And then this is my option list, right, which I configured. I could say, okay, the e-bike sounds interesting, so I'd like to purchase the e-bike. And now we are inside those slot features, right? So it already has this bike variable, bicycle, is e-bike at the moment. Now it will prompt me for the bell, and I can say, okay, noisy one, because I'm driving in the city and would like people to hear me when I drive through and go out of my way. And it says, okay, noisy bell. Then the delivery method. I cannot wait because I'm overexcited and would like to have it tomorrow. So express and yeah, always. Okay, so excellent choice. Your purchase summary, e-bike with noisy bell. Delivery is express delivery. The payment is via PayPal. And I can expect my e-bike in 2 to 5 business days. Okay, so, and if I go here on the context variables, you can see that Watson Assistant gathered all that information. And yeah, in the next step, you could, for instance, save that to a database or provide that information in a customer resource management system or something like that. And send that e-bike to the customer. So now I can say thank you and goodbye. Okay. So in a next step, of course, I would like to deploy that chatbot that I configured if I'm happy with how it responds. And that I can do actually with that assistance tab. Here I can create a new assistant, give it a name and so on. I already did that here. My first integration, it's called. I can go there. I can say, okay, which dialog node do I want to, or which dialog skill do I want to provide here? I chose that one, which is my bike skill. And then I can choose integrations, right? So I can add a new integration. There's, for instance, this feature preview link, where you can just generate a link. You have an easy user interface, and you can send that link as well to your peers, and they can test it as well. But there's also that nice feature here called web chat, which is only available not in the light plan, but you can try the plus trial plan. It's limited for a few days, but there you can use it as well. And it's really nice because here you can customize the UI. So you can say, you can provide a name for it. As you can see, it will look like that. Over here afterwards, you can customize some of the colors, and you can also provide an avatar image. You do have some more options here available. I'll not go through these at the moment, but then the last one would be embed. And for those of you that are familiar with a bit of coding, or maybe you do have your own website, you can actually copy that JavaScript code snippet here and then just paste it wherever you would like to have your bot, yeah, right? And now I would just, because I do have a little example over here, I can put it into that little HTML site. I can paste it in here, save it, and I do have that window opened over here. So as you can see, this is what it would look like. You can imagine your own site. And then that little window would display here down on the right-hand side. And you can click on it, and then my bike shop assistant would answer all of my requests, and I can just talk to it. And as you can see, it would provide some answers. I can say, okay, I would like to purchase bike. And as you can see, it now triggers the slots. I can say, okay, silent this time, and standard delivery, and pay via for instance. Yeah, and it works as well. So that's one easy way to integrate your Watson Assistant afterwards. And if we just go back for a second. Yeah, so that's one example of an integration, just to go briefly to the tutorials. So you do have that actually here. So with the first tutorial, you can see how to configure it with intents, entities, and the dialog. So what we just did, and the deployment options you have available. You can read about that here, and you do have a step-by-step guide. And the next tutorial, for the ones among you that say that's actually too mainstream to just implement a chatbot with that little web chat widget, and that would like to have Watson answer the phone, as Kim mentioned earlier, you can do that as well. And you do have the services available on the IBM Cloud. So you would need text-to-speech and speech-to-text, and something else that is called the voice agent. And then just to get a telephone number, you can go to Twilio, which is another great platform. And you can do that for free as well. So that's actually quite cool. So as I said, for the ones that think the chatbot is too mainstream, you can do that as well. And here's a step-by-step tutorial. You can import the skills as well. Here are some skills provided. So this one is German, can answer your questions about COVID, and you do have some more banking balance and pizza order. So you can just try those, import them, and then order your pizza via telephone, but without talking to an actual human, but rather your Watson assistant. So that's that tutorial. You do also have an integration with this discovery service, where you can crawl your website, for instance, and then return search results inside your Watson Assistant UI. So that's another cool feature. You can try that as well. And then you can enable your Watson Assistant as well to send you a reminder via email, or to store those context variables that you collected during the dialogue, and you can save them to a database. And we will take a quick look at that now. And go back to our Watson Assistant. So that's another skill now. So that's this one, help desk. As you can imagine, help desk, so you can provide a problem, or say if you have some kind of problem, tell that to your Watson Assistant, and then it would create a new ticket and save that to a database. My apologies, but that skill is German, so it's more for the German students among you, but you can understand that and build it in English language, right? So we have the same thing here. We have the intents. Begrüßung is the German skill for, or the German word for the intent greeting. You also do have capabilities. That one is in English. I mix both of them a bit here. You do have create ticket. You do have verify ticket. If you want to verify the status, and yeah, then you do have some more. I do have the entities as well for the ticket number, and I do have the dialog here. So as you can see here, I can also ask for capabilities. I do have that start all over again to reset your context variables. And basically, I do have this create ticket with a bit more logic with the child nodes and so on. And I do have another one, verify ticket, and then call out to a webhook. And a webhook, you can configure that here under options, is basically, yeah, as it says here, a mechanism to call out to something like an external API or an external program. And actually, yeah, as Kim said early on, sky is the limit here. So you can use everything that provides an external API. So use your imagination. With that example, it's just a database. So I provided a link here that is part of our cloud functions. I'll show that later on, and it will save the data into database. And if you go through the dialog now here, it will call out to a cloud function. That's what I'm going to show you now. And it just saves all the information with a context variable and then sends it to this webhook URL. And that webhook URL is if I go back to my, oh no, I've got it actually over here. It's over here. So you have something called Cloud Functions, which you can find in your menu over here. And there you can configure new actions. And I configured one for my Cloud. Cloud is a database. And that's actually the link which I provided in my Watson Assistant is an endpoint over here. And it will go through this code. It will connect to the Cloud database. It will use my parameters that I collected with the Watson Assistant. So something like ticket operation, status, description, and a contact, which is an email address. And then it will go through that logic, check whether ticket operation is create a ticket. It will create the new ticket then, or check whether it is verify ticket and verify the information regarding that ticket. And of course, you can test that as well. And we'll do that now. So I can click try it again. Of course, now the language here is German, but as you can guess, that is also the introduction. And then I can say, that I would like to create a new ticket. And it will say, okay, I would just have to require some information from you. And here you can describe your problem, start with HD for help desk, and don't use some of these special characters. So I can say HD, yeah, for instance, weather in Germany is bad, unfortunately, at the moment, because outside my window it's raining. And then I would have to provide an email address so it can contact me as well. And yeah, I can say, for instance, that say, okay, my ticket is almost created. I just have to verify the information here. So the description is fine and my email address is fine. So I can say yes, and then it will trigger that webhook and write it to my database. So now I can verify that. And I do have my database over here. Just check whether it worked or not. And So yeah, it did work. So here's my the contact I provided, my description, and the ticket status is still open. So I can provide an answer now and close it, closed. Get yourself coffee or tea, for instance, and save the changes, okay? And now I would just need my ticket number, of course, to verify it. Go back to my assistant, and I will have it over here. And there's still all the variables. So I can say start from scratch, right? And those are not set anymore. And then I can say to verify the status of my ticket, I have to provide the number, and then here it provides all of that information, and the status is now closed. It provided a solution for my problem, and yeah, so that's basically it. So that's how you can integrate a backend as well, and there are some other rather nice tutorials over here. This one, for instance, so you can access the Wikipedia API. Wikipedia does provide a rather nice API, and today you can yeah, just define everything that Wikipedia knows. So you can say, okay, tell me more about IBM. You could provide all the information about IBM. You could ask who is C3PO or R2D2, and even Simon. And Simon does have its own Wikipedia article, and it would provide that information as well. So you can access all the knowledge of Wikipedia just with one simple API. And yeah, there are some further tutorials. You can access those as well. As I said, some more information about Simon. There's a great developer site available, a community. If you are planning on building a startup or do already have one, there are some rather cool benefits as well for startups available. And of course, more IBM demos. So I'm really looking forward to the cool chatbots you will build, and yeah, wish you all the best, and thank you very much for listening, and that's it. So back to you, Maya.
Thank you so much for giving us this introduction to, for me as a non-IT person, really interesting chatbot option on the home pages. Especially in the beginning, I was like, oh wow, but I think especially you then showing the actual prototype of a chatbot made it really clear. Nevertheless, I would like to use the last minutes we have left of the session. If there are any questions, I'm sure maybe the presentation was too quick to follow each steps. Nevertheless, if you have current questions right now, why don't you use the opportunity to ask Kim and Felix here in this session? Might probably also be interesting for other teams here present. And yeah, if you can share your questions on the chat or come on unmuting yourself. In the meantime, I posted both of yours links to your LinkedIn so students can get in touch with you. But we also taking a little bit ahead of tomorrow's news. We will have a Slack channel to stay connected over the next 9 months within the whole sugar community. And Felix and Kim will be on there so you can get easily in contact with them. They specifically offered it so you guys can just message them a quick screenshot, tell them, hey, we have this difficulty, what should we do about it, which is much quicker than, you know, some LinkedIn message or some email. So that will be something.
Please reach out to us. I mean, it's all new and a lot of things that you got to try out. And it's overwhelming, whatever we just showed you. And no one is expecting you to build the next Star Wars. But we're definitely here to help you, and text us whatever happens, if it's technical, if it's just ideas you just want to talk about, or just like opportunities, how to combine the different services and how this all works. Just feel free. We're all here for you.
Perfect. Thank you. So as there are no other questions coming, Felix and Kim, thank you so much for joining us and giving.
Question, Maya, I would have a Kim and Felix. Can you say something about for the students how to get access to this? You said they can create an account, and maybe you can also say something about how much credit do they get and what can they do with it, just to give a flavor of how much is possible within the next in this course.
For sure. So every service that you just kind of saw, right, is we have a free version online. So we call it the light account. So you can basically try it out. It's sometimes restricted to like 30 days, but you can also download it and upload it again. I'm just saying that because I was thinking about it. And obviously you can just try it. For example, the chatbot, you can go up to 10,000 calls. So this is like API calls. You gotta like really write 10,000 times before it kind of like is full. So you need a lot of time to do that. And otherwise, like there is a lot of stuff already in the GitHub. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Try it out, figure it out, delete it, do your next one. Just like be creative here. It comes down to like building your own personality in a chatbot, because the more personality it has at the end, the more people react to it. And yeah, Felix, any more?
No, I mean, you just summarized it perfectly. I would just get started, try it out, and just from my experience, I never reached that limit with the light plan. So I built lots of demos, and that's really sufficient to build a demo. So you just use the other plans. If you go into production, have lots of customers that want to buy bikes or whatever, and then you will reach the limit. But if you build demos, it's just fine. You are fine with those light plans, yeah.
And we also offer this Node-RED, where you can basically try yourself how your services are connected to each other. So if you want that write down, if you like say you want to build a whole new universe of Star Wars, then try that out and just test it basically on this platform.
Good. Niels?
Oh, thanks.
Then let's see what are the new universes. I feel like Terry, your background looks already like a new universe. So let's see what your chatbot is going to be like. Maybe you will use it for NKC Cayman, the project. Who knows how you all might make use of a chatbot. Last year we had quite a number of projects due to the sudden corona consequences. A lot of projects actually had homepages and therefore also chatbots. So I think this workshop is really relevant to our students, and for me at least it was really informative and educational. So thank you for that. And you're invited, of course, to stay for our next, but I think first of all, a round of applause for our two keynote speakers today. You widened our horizon as well.